Welcome to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison.
I'm Molly, a former skeptic, now full-time energy healer, author, and your resident science meets spirit nerd.
And I'm Madison, a born and raised witch, teacher of the craft, and owner of not one, not two, but 3 metaphysical businesses.
Together we dig into low-effort witchcraft, spirituality, and the science that backs it all up, all with humor, heart, and a sprinkle of chaos.
So whether you're a curious skeptic or a seasoned witch, find a cozy spot, take a deep breath, and let's demystify some magic. Howdy doody, friends.
Howdy doody, friends.
I'm going to come to you straight off the top and be honest with you and let you know that this is our second time recording this episode. And that just, it is what it is. I can't even tell you what happened. I guess we should have known because the energy was already not correct because
the vibes were rancid.
Percy would not stop barking. And I got up to assess the situation to see if there really was an intruder like he wanted to let me know. Left the room, said sorry, Lily, as is procedure. Came back, computer off. Computer gone. Black screen.
Recording gone with it.
Black screen, not even a, usually the recording software will give me like a, do you want to, what's the word, recover? What you've lost? Nothing. It was like it never happened. It was like I entered a new timeline. It was so bad.
Your computer was like, girls, you were sucking so bad. The vibes were so rancid. We had to completely scrap the episode.
And honestly, it was not going well. We were pushing through.
It wasn't going great.
We were so tired.
Yeah. We both needed a nap. I've napped. I've been rested. It's been 2 days. How you feeling?
The day that we had that happen, at 4:30 p.m., I was working from bed, as I do sometimes, fell asleep answering emails. Fully woke up 45 minutes later, went, huh? Who am I? Where am I?
So we're doing much better today.
You know, we can only go up from here. But we are here. We are keeping it. We are keeping with our low effort episode idea that we had from when we were at peak tired and the hope that we'll just blow it out of the park now that we're well rested. And we're hitting you with a Q&A today.
Yeah. We're going to A some Qs. So if you have a Q that you want aid, we got you.
We got you. Some of these are from our Instagram DMs and the rest are from our Patreon. So if you would like an opportunity in the future to have your Q aid, get on our Instagram, get on our Patreon, pick your poison, choose your own adventure. But before we dive into those questions, Molly, what was your magic moment this week?
Gee, how could I choose? I don't know if y'all heard, but I published a book recently.
No, I only heard that you came in and hung out with me.
Yeah, for some of the time. You left me for most of the time.
That is true.
But no, Mundane Magic has been officially out in the world for 8 days. And as we're recording this, we are 5 hours away from finding out if it is on the New York Times bestseller list. I'm not watching the clock. I'm absolutely not anxious about it. The fact that that's even a possibility is bonkers town wild bananas to me. The fact that I even have to think about the New York Times bestseller list was not something that I considered 10 days ago. And yeah, I just think it's very cool that this community showed up so strongly that I literally have an alert on for New York Times bestseller. That's wild. And I'm not going to be embarrassed if we don't hit it because there's been so many cool things that have happened. Like literally the thing that has been baffling everyone in the publishing industry, and not me or Madison or anyone in this community, but Spellcrafter, Madison's store, actually sold more than twice as many copies as every major retailer combined of this book.
Yes. So places like Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, all the big ones that you can think of
combined.
This community showed up and showed out for indie bookstores. And
yeah,
we fucked with that.
Such a massive way. Like such a massive fucking way. Like I remember every week my publishers would send me like the big retailers numbers and they'd be like, what's Spellcrafter at? And I'd be like, bam, 1,300, 1,600, like just a bonkers number. And so I don't even have the total number right now of how many books we've sold, but it's a lot more than we anticipated because of your support of indies. So thank you. And I'm going to share my favorite story from the week that I think is just so peak whatever this energy is. I got a text message last Wednesday, the day after the book release, from a number that's not in my phone. And all it said was, it was a photo of my book on a table, and it said, "Who needs a volleyball? Next time I'm cast away, I have this book." And I go, that's great. Who is this? And I'm going to change names to protect the innocent, but I want you all to know that I graduated college 13 years ago. I don't talk to anyone that I go to college with anymore, and haven't for at least a decade. The person responds to my "who is this" with, it's, again, names are changed, Chad from Sigma. A frat guy I haven't talked to in over a decade. 1, how do you have my number still? 2, how did you find out about this book? And 3, what does it have to do with Tom Hanks? But I literally screenshotted this and sent it to everyone I know and go, this is evidence. Fuck the bestseller list. This is evidence I did my job right.
Yes.
Chad from Sigma knows about my book and was convinced to buy it. Mm-hmm. I have done my job.
There's no, yeah, for sure. I love that text is phrased in the same way that it would have been if you sent the "who is this" text 13 years ago. Right, like no last name. Yeah. No, like, oh, we went to college together.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. I am the fraternity brother, and that is my identity, and I am obsessed with that part of it.
Oh.
You talking about when you graduated college made me remember something that I've been meaning to tell you.
Oh.
Which is, I feel like, a magic moment in and of itself. That's how I know I've made it in this world, is that my 10-year high school reunion is happening and I was not invited.
Wait, you weren't invited?
I wasn't invited.
Why? What do you mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I do know that,
what do you mean?
The person who organized it doesn't like me very much. And so, at least I don't think so. It didn't like me 10 years ago. Like, whatever.
Did, like, people get invites in the mail?
No. It was like a Facebook group that was created, and my best friend Jeff sent me something about it because I live close-ish to where we went to high school now, and he lives out in Denver, and, like, made a joke about me going, and I was like, fully, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was not invited to this.
Are you not in the Facebook group?
Well, now he invited me. So now I'm in there. So now I can see everything that's happening, but I'm not going out of pure spite.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go anyway. I wouldn't go if I had been invited.
Oh, I would love to go to a high school reunion. I don't think we've had one.
Really?
Because I graduated in 2010, so 10 years would have been 2020.
Yeah, but then 15 years would have been 2025.
See, you'd think. Last year I remember looking because I was like, I'm going to be a published author. I should go to my high school reunion.
I should go flex on these hoes. No, you couldn't pay me to go. I don't know if this will surprise anyone listening, but me, not super popular in high school.
I was popular in the wrong ways. Like, the high school seniors dressed like me when I was a freshman for Fashion Faux Pas Day.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm. I was like...
Funny, not funny, because, like, that's mean, but, like...
They would walk by, and they'd be like, oh, we're dressed like you. And I would say... haters make me famous, and I would walk off. And I'm not kidding. That was not an exaggeration. That's literally how I responded.
My version of being popular for the wrong reasons is very different from yours, and that is for another podcast.
Anyways, before we dive down the rabbit hole of Madison's high school trauma, what was your magic moment?
So, the reason that Molly was in my house without me, visiting me with me
for
not there for multiple days, is because I was in New York City. And I was in New York City because Molly's book came out on February 17th. My partner Drew's birthday is February 13th, and the anniversary of Linda's death is February 14th. So you might imagine last year, my sweet, loving, kind, and supportive partner Drew had a tough birthday.
Yeah.
I was not in great spirits. He loved Linda, loves Linda. He was not in great spirits. It wasn't exactly like a super celebratory situation.
Yeah.
And so this year I wanted to do something really special for him. I ran this by Molly before we did it because I was like, I love you. I want to be there for you. But like, I got to do something nice for this person. And I got a really cool opportunity. This person, as if he's not the man I live with. But one of my best friends from college works for SNL. And SNL was not airing the weekend that we went because of the Olympics, or they just like were on break. I don't really know. I would imagine because of the Olympics, like they planned it, but because I think they take a break every year. I don't know. I don't watch SNL all the time. I'm not every Saturday night person, but she works in the costume designing of SNL. And so she got to take us around and give us like basically a private tour of the studio of SNL, which
that's so sick.
Is like very, very up Drew's alley and something that he was like so fucking excited about. And so we were in New York for a few days, came back and immediately got to work packing pre-orders. So it was like very much like a whirlwind experience. But that is actually not my magic moment. This is all set up for my magic moment, which is that I have one friend from when I lived in New York City, and her name is Amit. And she's just one of those people that, you know, when you meet someone and you immediately click. And we worked together at like our shitty retail job and like commiserated about it being terrible and everybody being mean to us together, and just became really, really close. She's like a sister to me. And she's one of those friends that like I don't get to see very often or speak to very often, but when we do, it's like no time has passed. And I texted her a few weeks before we came to let her know that I was going to be in the city and to see like what that weekend maybe looked like for her. Obviously, it's Valentine's Day weekend. Like there's a lot going on, whatever. And she is a therapist and a fitness instructor and like has this very, very full, busy life. And so I was like totally no pressure, whatever. We weren't able to figure anything out to see one another. But the first night we were in the city, we were getting on the train to go to the Comedy Cellar. And I got a call from her as I was like going through the turnstile. And I was like, that's weird. Like Amit's calling me. I thought she was busy. Like maybe she had a last minute cancellation or something. Like maybe she's going to see if I could, like, we can get dinner or coffee or something. So I answered the phone and she goes, where are you? And I was like, I'm in New York, remember? She was like, no, like, where are you? And I was like, I'm in this train station. We're going to the Comedy Cellar. She had a session. She had just left and was walking home or walking to meet someone, checked Find My Friends to look for the person that she was going to meet, and saw that we were like feet from each other.
Aww.
And so she came down into the train station, paid to go through just so she could like give me a hug and we could talk for the 3 minutes until the train came. And it was just like such a highlight of the trip. It was so, so lovely. Literally, Drew goes, what a New York moment. Like it was just like something that could only happen in a place like that. I don't know. I also just like love New York so much and miss it so much. It was like a little hug from spirit of like, hey, you guys are both really busy living your like full and beautiful lives, but it's important that you guys do this.
I'm obsessed with that. I love that like random, like I love running into people I love just randomly. It's my
best.
favorite thing ever. It's like one of the reasons why I don't think I could ever leave Maine like fully, because it's like I lived in New Hampshire during college and I'd never run into anyone ever. And then I came to Maine and I was like, oh my God, that's that person that bullied me in high school shopping for oranges. I missed you. Like, you know, like you just get nostalgic for that.
Yeah, that's what I don't love about living close to my hometown. I live like 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes south of where I went to high school, which I never really thought would be like my reality. And especially having a storefront, like I run into people that I went to high school with all the time. None of them ever recognize me, even people I went to college with.
Oh my God.
I've taken full fitness classes like 2 feet from people that I knew in college, and they have no recollection. I kind of can't blame them. I have purple hair and I'm covered in tattoos, and a lot of them knew me in a sorority. Like,
yeah, you did get a glow up.
Thank you. But it feels like so sometimes I'm like, maybe they didn't invite me because everybody's just forgotten I was ever there. Wouldn't be mad. Trust me. So glad that the version of me that existed in high school did not have access to a microphone like 28-year-old Madison does, because
dude,
you would not have liked her. She was not pleasant to be around.
Hey, you know, on that note, let's give that 28-year-old a microphone and let's A some cues.
Let's A those cues, baby. All right.
You like that segue?
Yeah.
I was trying to segue so hard there.
You did so good.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
All right. First up, what is something that you're hoping to dive deeper into your practice?
It will come as no shock to you if you've listened to our Crowley or Gardner episode, but I am really into the history of different magical practices right now. That is my rabbit hole hyperfixation. Right now, I'm really into understanding the history of like the different witch hunts that have happened over history. So got really into kind of like the burning times and the Salem trials. And now I'm really into like the kind of modern day witch hunts that have happened through like the Satanic Panic, which has always been a Roman Empire of mine, as you know. But I think seeing that after I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between like, you know, the early days witch hunts and then like Satanic Panic stuff and then early days witch hunts and now like kind of the stuff that's been coming out post Epstein Files release has a lot of similar qualities.
Yeah.
So I think it's just been really interesting to kind of dive into that. And then at the same time, I've been really interested in the history of divination and different divinatory tools and practices and kind of like learning, you know, I'm interested. I want to learn like runes and I want to learn like charm casting and I want to learn, you know, like fucking throwing bones and shit. Like, I don't know, like I'm interested in all those different practices right now. So I think that's mine, like history in general and then different forms of divination. What about you?
For me, I've been really, really interested in some more like niche cultural practices, both ones that are like cultures I belong to and also like cultures that have nothing to do with me. When we were in New Orleans for my 27th birthday, we went on this really, really amazing informative voodoo tour, which by the way, Try Guys went to New Orleans and I saw like them promoting a post. I'm 99% sure that the voodoo expert that they have on their voodoo episode is the guy that I went on the tour with.
Wait, have you listened to the episode yet?
No, it hasn't come out yet. I just saw it in like, it was like a quick flash in like a teaser that I was like, I accidentally smacked the shit out of Drew. And I go, that's the person we took the tour with.
Oh my God. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I was like, we should have that guy on the podcast and you were like, I don't know.
It was like, well, you know what?
Now
Clearly I knew he was taken. Clearly I knew he was taken. It was so informative and so amazing. It was just like incredible. I loved it. And that really like sparked a really heavy interest for me, especially what I learned. So my family is Irish. That's my like ancestry. And so I've always been interested in learning more about like Irish folk magic, Celtic folk magic, things like that. Apparently in New Orleans, the Irish community and the Black community was like very, very intertwined because their practices were quite similar and they were ostracized in the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And so I have really wanted to learn more about that. And I've really wanted to learn more about voodoo. Obviously, I know it's a closed practice, but I really want to read books about the practices that you don't need to be initiated into. Obviously, I know there's some things that are like kept very private and very secret. And I'm super, like, I'm totally respectful of that. But there's a lot of books that I want to read about practices from all over the world, especially that aren't centered in like Celtic pagan.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's been big for me. There's a book that we carry at the store that I keep meaning to grab off the shelf called The Book of Juju by a practitioner named Juju Bay about African spirituality that I'm so interested in.
Yeah. I feel like you and I have the same interest, just different
fonts.
You're like interested in the practices. I'm interested in the history. I'm like, how did the voodoo and Irish folk find out that they have the same practices or similar practices? That's what I want to know.
What I remember is I think that they like saw each other doing the same. Like they would go to similar spaces in like parks and things.
That's cute.
And be like, oh,
it was a meet cute.
Literally, I think it was a meet cute of like, oh, you're doing what I'm doing, because it was like this space that was kind of like a. I can't remember the name of the square, but I'm pretty sure that was it. I could be very, very wrong. Everyone should watch the Try Guys video when they go to New Orleans. Maybe it'll be out when this comes out.
Jeez, I hope so.
I'm very excited about it. Clearly. Okay, next question.
Next cue. Anything you do witchy when you're sick?
So This is both witchy and not witchy. I love, love, love to make pastina when I'm not feeling well.
What is pastina?
It's a kind of pasta. You know, the pasta that is like in little tiny stars.
The tiny little stars. Yeah.
So if you see like on TikTok, it's like Italian penicillin soup.
Oh.
And listen, I'm not a chef, and I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but you cook like carrots, onions, and celery and garlic.
Mirepoix.
And then you blend it.
Oh.
And you mix it into chicken broth or whatever kind of broth, veggie broth. You know, listen, I'm not here to gatekeep your broth situation. And then you cook the pastina.
No broth shaming
Yeah, no
here.
broth shaming here. Do what you got to do. Cook it in water for all I care. Probably not as tasty, but live your life. And you add your pastina to it and you cook it and I add Parmesan cheese and lemon. I don't know if that is correct, but it's what I do.
That sounds so good.
And so,
see, my thing is when I'm sick, you're not going to catch me near a blender and a stove. Like, that's something where I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good when I'm sick, but I'm sure as hell not going to make it.
I can say it is when I'm like, oh, I feel like I might be getting sick. And then I make a bunch of it.
Okay.
You know,
I love that.
When there's like there's like a tickle in the back of my throat. Let's get ahead of this situation. And so all those veggies are really good for you, but also all of the spices and things that I add, like especially garlic to like banish the fuck out of my illness.
Yeah.
Black pepper to banish the fuck out of my illness.
Mirepoix is very grounding.
Salt to cleanse and protect, you know, all those things. And so I just I like repeat those intentions to myself, stir some pentacles into that soup and call it a day.
Yeah. Couldn't be me. I feel like I become a mini herbalist when I start feeling sick, because we've had Chelsea Joelle on the pod. She's our astrologer. She's also my herbalist. And literally I was like, I could feel myself getting run down before the book event. And I knew Chelsea was coming. And I was like, do you have allergy spell with you in Florida? Like, will you please bring me allergy spell? Because it's like an elixir that she makes that it's the only thing that has ever nipped like any sort of respiratory shit in the bud for me. I use it for allergies. I use it when my throat feels sore. Like if I've done like multiple podcasts in a day or whatever, I use it when I have the sniffles, and it works so fucking well. If I have like a body ache kind of sickness, her golden teacher is what I go for. That has kava in it, so it helps with like muscle relaxation and stuff. So I tend to lean more towards that and more like tea magic. We've talked about my love of throat coat, but I also really love like magic hour tea. I have a whole collection, and so I'll just like look at my collection and be like, okay, what intention do I need today, and pick from there. And then for me also, like I lean on Reiki so much more when I'm sick. Like I said, I knew I was going to feel, I was like running on adrenaline for the last 2 weeks. That's why like I feel like I've crashed so hard this week. I'm feeling better today because I had an energy healing session yesterday. Like that was the only thing that brought me around. But to get through all of the launch week for the book, I was like, okay, I'm doing Reiki before bed. Like I'm doing Reiki when I wake up every morning. I'm connecting with my crystals and making sure my energy field is like fortified. And so for me, oftentimes when I get sick, I'm like, okay, like I need to get back into these practices that I know that make me feel more stable. But I also lose all energy and motivation when I get sick. And so mostly my witchy practice is letting myself sleep a lot and watch Sims 4 playthrough videos all day.
Love that.
There's something magical about Lil Simsy.
Lil Simsy, if you want to come on the pod,
slide
into our DMs.
My dream. Madison, I think it was like the night before the book launch, she was going to bed and I was still on the couch and she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, just watching a Sims build. that was my recharge nightly ritual. I
just realized as you're saying, because like in my head, I was like, what's she doing? But you really take it seriously that you are the bed is for sleep and intimacy only. Yeah. Me, I was like, why are you still on the couch? Like, why are you not in comfy bed? I was like, get me in the bed as quickly as possible. But now I'm realizing a bed is for sleep only.
Yeah,
I lay on the couch while you watch your little Simsy.
Like, sometimes I break that rule when I'm traveling. Like, after you said that, I was like, it's weird that I'm out here in the dark by myself. So I went into the bed, but then I couldn't fall asleep until like black. 1 a.m. I couldn't fall asleep until like 1 a.m. because I was in the bed watching Sims videos. There's no separation between church and state. And so I just stayed up way too late and then I was fucking tired.
Can't relate. I will never ever. I won't say never ever because I do have issues sleeping sometimes, but they are never caused by being in the bed.
Well, it's because if I'm watching Sims playthrough videos, I'm like one more video, and then it's like 1 a.m. and I've got my second wind and I can't. So, anyways, I just want y'all to know that Madison shamed me for watching Sims videos.
I just asked what you were doing
in the dark.
And I wasn't in like, what are you doing? I just said, what you doing? I wanted to know.
And then I had to say, watching Sims builds. Listen, alone in the dark.
That's not the weirdest thing that I have ever known you to do.
That's fair.
Okay. Fair. Next question.
Next.
I'm getting married in August. Any witchy ideas or tips for incorporating into wedding prep?
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. Can we come?
I feel like, so I got married 5 years ago in June, and I did some witchy things in my wedding, but there are some things that I would have done had I got married this year. So I'll share with you the things that I did do that I would do again. The first is before our wedding, we instead of choosing like a color theme, we chose a flower theme. So blue hydrangeas were the theme of our wedding. And so like that informed the invitations and the dresses and all of that. But it also meant that it was a really easy present for my maid of honor to gift us before the wedding. She got us 2 blue hydrangeas for our new home that we had moved into that year. And so before the wedding, what we did was the day before the wedding, we planted the blue hydrangeas out front and we buried a rose quartz underneath them with our initials on them. And I thought that was really sweet.
That's tender.
Yeah, I did the rose quartz part. Justin did the manual labor part.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, why do I need to hold this thing before we throw it into the ground? I was like, just hold it and put your love in it, damn it.
Marital bliss, everybody.
My sweet, sweet Virgo skeptic husband. But yeah, I will say it was a little bit sad when we moved out of that house. We couldn't take the hydrangeas with us. We tried to, but they wanted to keep them. And so I tried to propagate them. It didn't work. So we no longer have them and that's okay. But that was a very sweet, tender thing that we did. Other things that I did was I tucked crystals into my bouquet and had crystals on me the day of. Something I would not do again is we tried to make photo frames out of crystals. This was a video that was trending on TikTok at the time, but it was you wrap wire around the crystal and then you make a stand with the wire and you put beads on it and then you stick pictures. They just fell over. It was not worth it.
That sounds very complicated and difficult.
It really was. It was one of those where I was like, oh, this is a cute thing, and it wasn't. Yeah. I think weddings in general, a lot of traditional wedding things feel really witchy to me. The something old, something new, borrowed in blue feels super witchy. And for me, I've talked about it before, but my mom's mom is one of my spirit guides. I didn't know her when she was in the living realm, but I've gotten very close with her through my Reiki practice. And so I specifically asked my mom to bring something of her mom's for my something old that I got to tuck into my bouquet. So I think those types of practices feel really witchy. I also had a mini altar for my other grandmother who had passed a few months prior because she couldn't make it to the wedding. I gave her a front row seat and made a little altar for her and a little gave her one of the flowers from my bouquet to have on that chair. So I think I would do all those things again. I think I probably would have if I were to do it again, I probably would have made a magical mocktail or drink recipe with magical intentions. I think that would be really fun. We had a brunch themed wedding, so it was coffee and orange juice. So
I think that's cute.
It was super cute. Yeah. And bagels and
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember what we had. But yeah, I think that could be fun. Like if you have a signature drink or whatever, like you could put that, or you could do some like music magic and make like a magical playlist. Or I think like whatever wedding things you are doing, like doing them with a certain intention can make them more magical.
Yeah, for sure. I went to a wedding in my hometown, which I'm originally from North Carolina, from like a very small conservative town. And the wedding that I went to was for somebody who was very witchy, changing names to protect the innocent.
Was it Chad from Sigma?
Yeah, it was. Sorry you weren't invited. But it was very much that energy of like everything was chosen for witchy reasons. It just wasn't like super advertised. So like her bouquet had stones in the handle, like you know those ones that you've seen on TikTok that like the handle is a stone.
Yeah.
Hers was like made so you couldn't, it wasn't like super flashy, you couldn't really see it, but it was there, and it wasn't like, you know, a super witchy looking bouquet. There was an altar for those who have passed, but again, like that's very normal at weddings. Like the chair in the front row.
Weddings are witchy.
They're so witchy. I mean, like because I obviously am not married, but have spent a lot of time like thinking about and talking about like what is it about like the institution of marriage, I think is quite weird. What is it that like still draws me to that institution? And I think it is like the spiritual significance of those ceremonies.
Yeah, totally.
And so there's like even hand fasting ceremonies. Those are something that have come back a lot. The idea of like, you know, where you tie the knot physically, literally.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what I really love to see in weddings, because I feel like they're just such a reflection of your personality.
Mm-hmm.
And so choosing things for the intentions that matter to you is like just such a beautiful way to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you one thing I wish I did that you can make witchy, and one thing I'm really glad I did that you can make witchy.
Okay.
Everyone take notes. I wish I chose a signature scent for my wedding day, because that has been a practice I've been doing lately. And it does feel really magical to like have a scent. Like I got that perfume while we were in Chicago, and now every time I smell it, I think of like our time in Chicago and this podcast and my bestie Madison. And so I think picking a fragrance for yourself that you want to imbue with that energy of the wedding could be really powerful. I wish I did that. I did not. One thing that I'm really glad I did, that I did last minute, I almost missed the boat on this one. I got my bouquet pressed into a frame.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't going to do. And then the day, I just loved my bouquet so freaking much. It was, I had like a local flower farmer make it, and it was just beautiful and it was perfect and I loved it. And I literally waited like a week, and I was like, I'm not going to press it. I'm not going to press it. And then I was like, I need it. And it is my favorite piece of art in my home. Like it is my favorite piece of art in my home. And I think depending on like, you could choose your flowers with specific spiritual significance and like really make it like about the life you're building together, and then have that displayed in your home. Highly recommend. It was worth every penny. It was worth every penny. So just saying that.
You know, something else that I would do is make a sigil for like the protection of your marriage.
Cute.
And like draw that on the bottom of your shoe, or like, you know, put it under the chairs, and, you know, like places like that. Like even draw it on the walls just with your finger.
I was going to say, have your wedding cake designer like add it into the design.
Oh, that's fun.
Right? That could be cute.
Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of opportunity in weddings.
So many.
Congratulations. Send us an invitation. We want to come.
Next, what impact has the pod had on your life? Do you have a favorite memory or magic moment from throughout the years?
I feel like the easier list to make would be, how has the podcast not impacted our lives? Like,
yeah,
truly nothing that happens in my life on a day-to-day basis would happen without this podcast. Like,
yeah,
I can't, like, to the nth degree. It's so wild how transformative it's been for us. I think, like, for me, the most obvious thing that comes to mind is that Spellcrafter wouldn't exist without the podcast. Like,
yeah,
the way that this community showed out for Hedge Witch really like just changed the game for us entirely and gave us both like the resources and the proof of concept to say like, oh, people want more of this. And getting direct feedback from you guys about like what you were looking for in your practice really guided what I purchased and how I made the Spellcrafter candles and what we've done going forward. It's just like completely transformed the trajectory of my career, the opportunities that we've received. Like it's just, I can't even like describe it.
Yeah. Mundane magic wouldn't exist without this podcast. Like literally my agent found me through this podcast. My Reiki training would definitely not be the same without this podcast.
I wouldn't be teaching at all.
Yeah. I don't know if I would still have been teaching because I felt pretty burnt out before the podcast. I was pretty burnt out on the social medias. Our friendship wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, like we would just be people who text, which like is fine. That's great. That's a, you know, and we are still that.
Yeah.
But like I see you more than I see anyone else in my life.
Yeah.
That's not like my family or my partner because of the way that we exist. You know, like I wouldn't know half the shit I know about, you know, even being a business owner. It's taught me so much about running a different kind of business.
Yeah.
And so it's like influenced all of the choices that I've made.
Yeah. I also think too, like this podcast has changed the lives of people like outside of us. Like we've been able to platform like diverse authors and other small businesses and like other things that are happening. We've raised thousands of dollars through our Instagram for nonprofits and charities and through Patreon. And so like I think it's just had like this tremendous ripple effect on our lives and like many lives outside of us, which has been really cool. What has been your favorite memory or magic moment throughout the years?
I don't know. I think going to Chicago was one of the coolest things that we've done.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite memories, though, is like some of the first times that we recorded. Those are like some of my fondest memories of not knowing what the fuck we were doing, brainstorming, like just pulling ideas out of our ass, not knowing if anybody was going to care, recording for an hour and then sitting on Zoom and like co-working for 2 or 3 hours and like just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Probably that. Or the first time that we hit #1 on the spirituality charts. That was like really bonkers.
Yeah. That was really bonkers.
I think that was the first time that I really was able to like reconcile that this was like a successful venture. Even like everything else felt very anecdotal, if that makes sense. Like I am someone, it is so true. Like you can, 100 people can say something nice to me and one person can say something mean and all the other nice things go away. And so like I hear all of these stories of people saying that it's changed their lives. And it really does. Like I cry all the time reading messages from you guys, like all the time. But it's so easy for my brain to like brush it off of like, oh, they're just being nice. So like that's just a fluke.
Yeah.
And that was like the first really like data informed thing to be like, no, like this is an impactful thing that is worth doing that you're participating in.
Yeah. I think for me, it was the first time that I was scrolling on TikTok and unprompted saw a video recommending our podcast and being like, is this play about us? Yeah, that was wild. But I think it's all been usurped by just this last week, just like hearing people, like the outpouring support of both of our ventures, you know, like just the amount of people that were like, thank you for doing the pre-order through Madison store so that I can support both of you.
Yeah.
And seeing like a direct correlation between like podcast listeners that I've seen in our DMs all the time and then seeing your name like on a label get printed out and then seeing you buy like multiple books. I'm just like, what the hell? Like people bought this book. Someone paid like $40 in shipping for a book that they could have gotten locally.
Yeah.
Like we shipped that book to Iceland, New Zealand, Israel, like Canada,
Switzerland, France,
South Africa, Chile, Colombia, like all of these fucking places.
I've learned a lot about international shipping in the last 3 weeks if you were curious.
Yeah.
DM me with your questions.
But they were all podcast listeners. Like I'm willing to bet like 95% of people who bought Mundane Magic on a pre-order listen to this podcast. I know for a fact like at least 90% of my students in my Reiki training are listeners of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think for me, just being able to see, I know that name as I was like putting labels on the books was like just a really cool, like, I don't know. You don't know what 2,000 books look like until you're in a warehouse surrounded by them.
Yeah.
And to be able to see like, oh, these aren't 2,000 strangers. Like I knew more names than I didn't know.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, was really cool. Because I feel like with a lot of podcasts I listen to, I feel like I have a one-sided relationship with the host.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do feel like the relationship goes both ways.
Yeah.
With our listeners, which is, I don't know. I think that's cool.
For sure. It's so hard. It's funny this question comes through. There's something like the biggest way that this podcast has changed my life I get to talk about next week. And so it's so hard to like sit on that.
I know.
And be like, so there's something, the podcast has changed my life in a very big way. But I finally get to tell you guys all my bleep from our bingo board episode.
I mean, you could just say it now if you wanted it to.
Yeah, but I'm letting you have I feel like this is, I want Mundane Magic to still have its moment.
Okay. Fine.
But next week, you're off the throne. It's all about me.
She's kicking me off the pyramid.
No. Next question. I'm thinking about traveling solo in a few months, but I don't have a destination set yet. Are there any witchy-inspired trips you've been eyeing lately? Any recommendations for destinations or must-try itinerary things that are spooky or witchy-inspired?
Ooh, anytime I travel, I try to do a ghost tour in the city. I try to do it early on because it's a really nice way. It's like spooky, witchy, but also it's a nice way to learn about the city and the architecture. And I'm just like a nerd for history. So wherever you travel, ghost tour. Madison will tell you, I literally was like in Chicago, I was like, we could go on a ghost tour. When I went to San Antonio, I was like, who wants to go on a ghost tour?
I am the same way. I love a ghost tour. Drew and I do that every time we go anywhere. We didn't do it in New York only because we were at a comedy show every night.
Yeah.
And we had been walking so much and it was so fucking cold. I was like, I don't know that I could do another outdoor activity where I have to walk in these boots that kind of don't fit right.
Yeah, fair. I think ghost tours are great. We talked about a couple of ideas on our history episodes, but Isle of Man?
Yeah.
Kind of witchy.
Kind of witchy. I know that it's like, it feels obvious, but I did really love Salem. I would love to go to Salem in the summertime.
We're manifesting it. We're manifesting a Salem meetup.
Yes, I think that would be so fun. There's so many like conventions and things in Salem that I would really love to go to and like participate in. But anywhere kind of in the Northeast feels quite witchy to me. New England feels quite witchy to me, but also like I'm a big Appalachia girl. Love, love, love. I talk a lot about my complicated relationship with the South, but the Appalachian Mountains are just something that I have a lot of love and tenderness towards. I also really, really, really want to go to the Pacific Northwest. That is like such a bucket list trip for me. I
love the PNW.
I'm trying to think about where else. Which really, I love to make any trip that I go on a little bit witchy. Drew and I, whenever we go anywhere, we do a like a metaphysical store tour. We just like look up all of the metaphysical stores that are in like a 10-mile radius and go check them all out. And so I feel like you can kind of make any trip, any city witchy. So if there's just a place you want to go, like look and see what the ghost tours look like. Also, I fucking love New Orleans. That is my ultimate witchy trip guide. Send me a DM. I will send you the website of the really cool guy who does the really good tour.
I was going to say I had like a deeply spiritual experience when I visited the Redwoods in California.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, I could have sat in that with them all day. Like it was, I have never felt energy like that in my entire life. There were a couple where you could like literally stand inside the trunks and I could not because it was like too much energy.
Yeah.
So I think if you have an opportunity to see those, that feels like not, directly witchy, but it felt like a deeply spiritual experience to me that I will never ever forget. But yeah, I think there's lots of cool places. There's apparently a witch museum in Cleveland too. Somebody told me about that.
Fun.
So I know where I'll be going one day.
Mm-hmm.
Next. Okay, this one I think is a great question for us to answer here as we move into Mercury retrograde. This person asks, how terrible is it to do big things during Mercury retrograde if you don't force it and double check all the contracts?
Not terrible at all.
Not terrible at all.
We can, like, as much as I love astrology and as much as I really do appreciate it as a framework to pay attention to, you can't put your life on hold because Mercury is retrograde. Even so, this Mercury retrograde that at the time of recording we're going into tomorrow, but the shadow phase for this one has been fucking brutal for me. And I just signed one of the biggest contracts of my life.
Yeah.
And you just got to do what you got to do. You're not going to, if you need to move, if you have to take a really big business call, if you have to pitch something, like you can't say, oh, sorry guys, we're going to have to put a pin in this till March because I can't do this. Some things you can for sure.
Yeah.
Depends on the situation.
Chelsea gave me a great piece of advice once where she said, when it comes to like doing big things in Mercury retrograde, if it's things you've been working on or planning since prior to retrograde, don't stress about it. Just give yourself space around it. If it's something new that pops up during retrograde that requires you to sign a contract, move, make a big decision, like those are the ones that we want to be cautious about, not the ones that you've been like, planning or whatever, or manifesting, thinking about, whatever the case may be. Like your big contract didn't come out of the blue during retrograde. Like it's been something that has been in the works, which you'll find out about next week.
We don't have to
don't spoil it.
We don't have to continue the tease. You can find it on my Instagram.
Oh yeah, I guess. True. But yeah, I think like giving yourself the space, double checking if it's something that you've been working towards, I wouldn't stress about it at all. If it's something new that pops up that can wait, maybe. But I also think like you can do a gut check.
Yeah. Hard agree. 100% co-sign on that one.
Hanopi, totes my goats.
Mm-hmm. Did we do it?
I think we did it.
I think we did it. Yay.
Save the recording. Everybody save the recording. Save the recording. I've been truly on the edge of my seat. For a second, Percy started to bark while we were recording this. And I was like, can't get up. I was like, simply, you will have to bark at the mailman in peace. Yeah. Like, not taking my eyes off this baby. Anyways, we love you.
Love you very much.
And
we'll see you soon.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Demystify Magic with Molly and Madison. All our links, from spells to ceremonies to ways to support us, are waiting in the show notes.
We'd love to hear your magic moment of the week. Share it in a review, tag us on socials, or bring it to our Patreon clubhouse at demystifymagic.com.
And remember, you are the magic.
Okay, love you.
Bye.